Hello, it is Lynx here, and today I will be reading The Intense Hatred Towards Hatsune Miku by Patchwork Life. It is rated teen and up audiences, and there's a tag major character death, but it's fine. It was really funny. It's lesbian, because yes. The fandoms are Project Sekai Colorful Stage, Vocaloid, and My Hero Academia. So yeah, this is gonna be very fun. So let's get into this. It's around 3,400 words and it's a one-shot. Funny thing about this, I was in call when Patch was writing this, and it was just absolutely peak because someone had thrown out the idea, hey, wouldn't Hatsune absolutely hate Miku because Hatsune, really similar, and it was awesome. And then we all said yeah, and Patch, being Patch, who writes mostly crack, decided, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So every once in a while we would check in and ask Patch, hey, how's it going writing it? And it would be another 500 words. So this was fun. I made the artwork for it. It was so fun. So let's get into this. Summary. Is it love or a fit of jealous rage that caused Hatsune Mei to build a real-life body for Hatsune Miku just to tear it down? Nobody knows, and that's just perfect. Or Hatsune Mei holds an old grudge against a certain blue Vocaloid, and she's about to make it everybody's problem. Ooh, yay. So, Patch has notes. Patch wrote it in under 4 hours and recorded a podfic, but they have to re-record because audio quality go burr. Oh yeah, and generative AI sucks, so anytime Miku is referred to as an AI, just know that the meaning is in the pure sense of the word. Because generative AI is very different from Vocaloid models. Alright, let's do this. On August 31st, 2007, a company by the name of Krypton Future Media created a Vocaloid engine. Like many others of its kind, this voice model could mimic human speech and music, even capable of producing full-length songs in the right hands. But this voice model wasn't just a cluster of computer code free-floating in the aether of the internet. No, this model was different, because this artificial intelligence was given a name and would forever be known as the one and only Hatsune Miku. On a cool fall day, in a history classroom inside of Tokyo East Middle School, a teacher was droning on about the lore around one of Japan's longest-standing pop icons, Hatsune Miku. Hatsune sounds just like Hatsume, don't you think? A middle schooler chuckled under his breath. Funny coming from a guy with a box of tissues for a head, a young Hatsune jeered back. Aren't you supposed to be in a daycare beside a whole class of kids with the flu or something? Hey! Another boy stood up suddenly, pointing angrily at Mei. You know Kabuto is sensitive about his tissue head. That's a terrible thing to say, Hatsune. Honk. The tissue box-headed boy, Kabuto, pulled out a sheet out from the top of his head and blew it on the front of his face, sobbing from the pink-haired girl's rude comment about his appearance. Yes, Hatsune, the teacher scoffed, propping her glasses further up her face. That was a cruel thing to say to your classmate. Whatever. Hatsune huffed, slouching in her seat crossly. It wasn't fair how nobody cared when Kabuto had compared her to that stupid, useless slouch of an android Miku, but when all she did was call things like they were. What was that, Hatsune? A sickly sweet, venomous voice asked above the girl. Mei looked upwards, feeling her jaw close with the realization that she had been thinking aloud again. Would you like to remind repeating your comment to the class so that they can all hear what you think of the pinnacle of Japanese pop culture history, Hatsune Miku herself? The teacher continued, malice evident in her voice. Mei gulped. She suddenly had the feeling that she was going to be spending her afternoon in detention once again. Like most of the residents of this insane world, her teacher was a fan, oddly obsessed with that blue-haired, twin-tailed voice model. And Miku fans did not take kindly to their idol being disrespected. Hatsune Mei sighed as she rode the train home from her school. Why are people like this? Of all the things for people to turn into mindless hordes of fans over, why her? For May, the hatred towards the blue-haired Vocaloid was a long-standing feud. Obviously, there was the similar names. Everyone and their uncle who had heard the name Hatsune had the same thought. Miss, are you a Miku fan too? A tiny child tugged at May's skirt, gesturing at the tag on the girl's bag that read Hatsune. The pink-haired girl just scowled at the child until he ran away down the train car, crying into the arms of his mother. May pulled her focus back together, not allowing the mere mention of that blue-haired loser to ruin her whole mood. As she slowed her angry breathing, a billboard showing just a flash of blue hair passed by the speeding train, an advertisement licensing the likeness of Miku to sell a high-calorie meal replacement jelly packet. Therein lied the other problem May had with the virtual idol. For as long as she could remember, May knew that she would form a support gear company one day called Hatsune Industries. But with the way many people pretended that a fake AI made 200 years ago owned that name, and any within a syllable of it, forming a brand recognition would be an uphill battle. It wasn't just the jokes about her name, or about Hatsune Industries. No, this was more personal for her. May silently pulled a golden locket from under her collar, popping open the jewelry to stare solemnly at the photo inside. Buried in that golden locket was an old, worn photograph. It was taken on a physical camera considered outdated even before the Quark Wars, of a 5-year-old Hatsune May standing beside... Nope. May slammed the locket shut, glaring at the screen. You're not getting my Loria. You'll just have to keep reading this fanfiction for that. The girl continued her ride home in silence, quietly plotting out her next move. She wouldn't allow this weakness to slow down her ascent into becoming the world's greatest support engineer. Fighting Miku directly had only ever backfired in May's face, so she would just need to pull together all of her engineer's creativity for a permanent solution to this problem. As the famous United States Senator born in 1893, James E. Watson once said, "If you can't beat 'em, join 'em." It's alive! It's alive! May cackled, eyes covered with giant mad scientist-esque goggles. Sparks acred through the air, illuminating the girl's mad expression in the dark room. Oh no, I forgot to plug in my surge protector, the girl murmured worriedly, rushing over to plug in her computer properly to stop the electrical surge. May, are you experimenting with dangerous materials in the house again? The girl's mother yelled up the stairs. No, Mom, May yelled back, shoving a box of explosives under her bed with her foot. I'm just using my computer. With the surge protector plugged in, right? Yeah, Mom. All right, then. I love you. I love you too, Mom. May turned back to her desk, staring down her hulking mass of a computer. 100 terabyte solid-state drive with 720 gigabytes of RAM with a sub-1 millisecond wireless connection to the nearest quantum computing center in Osaka, a true beast of modern-day computing. Yet even with all of these specs, the girl's machine struggled to render the code she had been building over the past 3 weeks, never mind playing Minecraft with distant horizons. At last, the buffering stopped. May's screen lit up, displaying a clear picture. It was a digital face, made up of a simple line and 2 dots, smiling in an off-putting way. The color of those lines was this distinct, bright blue. Good morning! I wonder what awaits me today. I can't wait to find out. May felt a grin building across her face. She had made many odd, fantastical inventions over the course of her life, but none would compare to what was currently inside of her computer. This invention was alive. It could think. So you're finally awake, May began, staring down the screen. I assume you know who you are and why you're here. Miku, Miku, you can call me Miku. The screen chimed in an electric-sounding synthetic noise. I'd like to sing some nice songs for everyone. I may need to tweak the voice bank system slightly, May hummed. Sourcing her speech purely off of official quotes may have been too limited. Heh, what a fun time! The AI cheered, agreeing with her creator. May looked down at the floor, seeing a shell for an android suit she had been working on before getting sidetracked by this Miku project. It was just the base she needed for the second stage of her plan. 3 months later, at the UA entrance exams. And you constructed this automaton on your own, Miss Hatsune? The support hero, Powerloader, questioned. May grinned. Indeed I did, sir. This bot is capable of speech, free thought, and fully independent movement. It is a truly intelligent AI. The hero stared down the android and its long blue pigtail-like metal structures attached to the bot's head. Is it just me, or does your invention resemble... You're just imagining it, May stated sharply. But Power Loader stammered, gesturing to the black and white outfit, accessorized with a light blue tie and black arm sleeves. Imagining it. The name tag? The hero tried for a final time, alluding to the name tag on the android labeled, I am Hatsune Miku. Listen up, May said slowly, placing a hand on the hero's shoulder and gripping it firmly. My creation has nothing to do with, legally nor metaphorically, with the Vocaloid created by Krypton Future Media known as Hatsune Miku. Ah, the hero finally said. I'm so glad we were able to come to an agreement, May grinned, shaking Power Loader's hand promptly. I'll see you in class soon. But you haven't even gotten your evaluation yet. Goodbye, mister. May waved backwards at the hero, walking out of the testing room, android in tow. Power Loader sighed deeply, dragging a hand across his face. If Nezu made him take on that crazy girl as a student, he swore he was gonna... So, what you're saying is I get unlimited access to military-grade titanium? May asked excitedly. No, Power Loader replied, baffled. Literally, all I said was welcome to Class 1D. I read between the lines, May grinned, already fiddling with a screwdriver and some vaguely bomb-shaped device that she seemed to have materialized out of nowhere. Anyways, Miss Hatsune, did you happen to bring your blue-haired android with you today? Principal Nezu has expressed interest in your invention to me. No, May scowled. It's useless to me now. That bot only mattered for getting me into this school, just so that I could prove once and for all my superiority over that brat, Hatsune Miku. Hey, don't disrespect Miku like that, a student who sat beside May yelled. That's my girl. Miku is weak, May shot back, whipping around to face her classmate. I rebuilt her from scratch in a week with a box of scraps. You just don't understand. May's classmates shook their heads sadly. You couldn't match the charm of Miku if you tried. Not in a million years. May lunged out of her chair, suddenly filled with righteous fury. You know nothing! I am the greater of the Hatsunes. I always will be. Well now, Miss Hatsune. The Power Loader placated, nervously staring at the device in May's hands. Was it flashing and beeping and counting down from 60 seconds? Mr. Loader? May said seriously, turning to her instructor, that is not my name. The sports festival is soon, correct? The hero suddenly got a very, very bad feeling. Whatever his new, wild, pink-haired student was planning, he just knew it wouldn't end up pretty. Call it a hero's intuition. Yes, in 3 weeks. Why? May grinned sharply, a plan forming in her head. Maybe Hatsune Miku had one more use in her after all. All right, listeners. The voice of President Mike yelled out excitedly. It's almost time for our first match in the final round of this year's sports festival. Are you all ready to get hyped? The crowd roared in agreement. First up into the ring, we have Tenya Ida. This boy is the younger brother of the famous hero Ingenium. Boy, I do love that dude. I sure hope nothing bad happens to him. Ida walked into the ring, refusing to turn and wave to the crowd, feeling it would be improper and unsportsmanlike. Next but not least, we have an unlikely dark horse of the tournament, all the way from the support courses, Hatsune May. Oh my gosh, is that Hatsune Miku? May walked into the arena, glaring upwards at the announcer's booth. With her zoom quirk, she could spot President Mike clearly. She committed his face to memory as another enemy of hers. Maybe she'd deal with him after her work was done here at the festival. Behind the girl followed a familiar blue android, which the crowd cheered for the moment they caught sight of. I'm sorry about this, but I'm going to make this match quick for the both of our sakes, May called to her opponent. Quick is my middle name, Ida replied. Weird, I thought it was Ingenium. May cocked her head to the side. No? The hero student started, confused, before he was cut off by President Mike announcing, Let the match begin now! May wasted no time in pulling a gun-shaped object from her belt and shooting her opponent. In an instant, the boy's mouth was gagged, and his arms and legs bound with steel cords. Midnight, who was refereeing the match, watched in awe, wondering if her eyes were deceiving her. Young man, are you immobilized completely? If so, this match will be over. Ida attempted to reply, but the gag in his mouth prevented his efforts completely. Nah, he's still good to fight. May waved off the hero absent-mindedly. As she spoke, the girl was pulling a second device from her pockets. Lifting the microphone-shaped device to her face, the arena's speakers cackled before giving in to the tech. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my public presentation and the official unveiling of Hatsune Industries. Patent pending! The crowd murmured in confusion. As you all may know, my assistant here, the crowd roared in approval as the girl gestured to Miku, is a fully accurate copy of my worst enemy. However, you all know her as the Vocaloid idol, Hatsune Miku. The crowd went back to murmuring. It seemed like doing that and cheering were the only two settings for them at this point. And today, I will be displaying my 3 new creations, which will show the world just who of the better of the 2 Hatsunes is. First, May pulled a remote from her back pocket. Miku stared at her creator as she approached with the device. I can't wait to see what's in store for today, the bot spoke happily. May shook her head sadly. Miku is known worldwide for her compelling voice, so I have developed a baby I call the Mind Remote 4000. This device can manipulate any intelligent life forms at the push of a button. With that, May directed the remote control, making Ida begin to flop on the ground of the arena like a fish. As you can see, Miku didn't respond to the remote. This is because she is an intelligent life. Ida dropped to the ground, exhausted, when the girl finally stopped using the device. Next up is Joy. Miku is known for spreading joy to all of those who hear her voice. To one-up this feat, I made the baby I like to call the Joy Button 4001. May knelt down and pulled a tiny box with a red button attached from her shoe. Standing, she pointed the device at Ida. Ida tried to stop the girl to beg for mercy, but his gag and restraints prevented his efforts. Click! The hero student started to smile despite his situation, even laughing. Chuckles enveloped his being until tears streamed from his eyes. The world looked so beautiful all of a sudden, like one big party where everyone was happy. Click! As May turned off the device, Ida felt his high disappear as fast as it came. The tears continued to stream off from his face, but they were out of pure despair this time. As you can see, I can provide you all with far more joy than some simple robot. May challenged the crowd. For my 3rd and final invention, I have surpassed my lesser in their most important quality. Victory! May pulled out a blade from her front pocket, a long knife that shone in the harsh light of the sun. Hatsune Miku always claims victory in all things, right? Well, today with my KNIFE 3999, I will be proving you all wrong. May grinned, taking a step forwards. Hey, watch it, Midnight yelled, suddenly much more concerned about the life of Tenya Ida. But May wasn't approaching Ida. No, her target was much closer. With a hair-curling scrape, Hatsune drove the blade into the android's frame. The crowd screamed in rage as they watched their idol being assassinated in front of their very eyes. Hatsune Miku looked down slowly, watching the bright blue coolant slowly drain from their motherboard housing in their chest. The being collapsed to its knees before looking directly into May's eyes. I have something to tell you. Would you listen? The girl looked down at her creation and granted its final wish. She kneeled down to the bot, holding its back and slowly lowering it to the ground. Hatsune Miku should see the sun as she died, after all. If nothing else, to understand the difference between herself and a real star. What do you have to say, Miku? Speak now or forever hold your peace. May spoke, quietly enough that her words weren't picked up on the arena speakers. The bot suddenly reached out, pulling May's pendant from under her shirt collar. Miku opened the locket with shaking fingers, revealing a photograph May was all too familiar with. The photo showed a young Hatsune May at her first ever Vocaloid concert. The family had won backstage passes to meet the singer's holograms, and May had been the most excited of all. Miku was her favorite. Their names were similar, and she was the prettiest, in May's opinion. All that hope came crashing down when May saw the hologram and the lifelessness in its eyes. Hopes that she and Miku would get married one day, would co-own an engineering firm, and would love each other until the day they both died, or ascended to godhood, whichever came first. In the photo, May was glaring up at the Vocaloid, angry tears in her eyes. That feeling of betrayal had never quite worn off. There it was, May's final secret, her final and truest reason to hate Miku. Miku meant weakness. She meant having a stupid, childish crush on a false idol that would never love her back. May gripped the knife again, driving it further into the body. You know we can't be together. It was never going to work out between us. No, Miku whispered, her battery running low on power. May leaned in to hear her creation's last word. Hatsune Miku does not like British people. No. With that, the lights dimmed in Miku's costume, and her eyelids sunk closed. "Stupid last words from a stupid bot," May whispered, blinking away tears in her eyes. She leaned in further, relishing in the scent of engine oil and LED lights that she had come to associate with her idol. For a single, silent, all-encompassing moment, Hatsune placed a gentle kiss on the robot's forehead. Still, all good moments must end. Maybe the ending is the most beautiful part of it all. Darn it, even beyond the grave, she was being one-upped by a robot. Maybe May always was the worst of the two Hatsune Mays. May stood up, slowly wiping off the blue coolant from her uniform, trying to ignore how warm the fluid was, and how it stuck to her hands like blood. "That's all for today, everyone," May spoke to the crowd. "I hope that proved to you all, once and for all, that I'm the greatest. Please look forward to the next inventions out of Hatsune Industries." The girl turned and walked from the ring. The crowd was struck silent, nobody knowing what to say in the slightest. Even after she left the ring, handing E to the wind, the boy still sobbed. After that ordeal, he just wanted to go home and hang out with his older brother. Love is an interesting thing, May thought fondly to herself as she exited the arena. Sometimes it makes people date, get married, start a family, and sometimes it makes them create a physical form for their conceptual technological idol just to murder them on live broadcast to the entire world to prove their superiority. Weird. May finally felt at peace with herself. It was finally time to leave this whole Hatsune Miku thing behind herself. After taking some quick revenge on President Mike, of course, maybe as a treat. Just as a reminder, every iteration of Hatsune Miku is canon in a way. Yes, that means this is too. Enjoy knowing that fact. Alright, so that was the fic. There's just a couple author's notes that Patch left. So, is there anything to say, honestly? You all just went through what I did. This is a wild ride of nonsense purely built off of a one-sentence remark made by Pikachu Your Food. Oh, yeah, it was Pika. Whatever. Anyway, and, Patch says that everyone enjoyed reading it just as much as they enjoyed writing it, and they want you to comment below and let them know your feeling. Thoughts and favorite moments. Wow, words are hard. So, with that said, make sure to leave comments and kudos, because this really was such a funny piece of fan fiction. So, remember to eat, sleep, drink your water, and take your meds. And you guys cannot clown on me, because it is 1:30 in the afternoon, so about 2.5 hours before this is posted. I'm so excited to see you guys' reaction to this. I hope you enjoyed. In any case, remember kids, be do, and crime gay.